Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive with us. We like to get into the nitty-gritty here, and today we're tackling a topic I know a lot of you are really interested in, Bitcoin.
It's a hot one for sure.
Definitely. But we're not just talking about like the tech stuff. We want to go deeper, right? Like how could this whole decentralized thing actually change how we live and interact?
Yeah, you've hit on something that's really got people talking. It's this idea of Bitcoin is this big cultural shift.
Okay, so less about like the price of Bitcoin and more about its potential impact. I like it.
Yeah.
So what's the source material for our deep dive today?
So we're looking at this article called The Bushido Code and Bitcoin Building a New Heroic Age.
Okay, Bushido. Now that's an interesting twist. Samurai warriors and Bitcoin. I am intrigued. Tell me more.
Right. It's a fascinating comparison. The article argues that Bitcoin is more than just a financial tool. It's driving a cultural shift towards individual empowerment and responsibility.
Okay, I'm all ears. Because honestly, sometimes the whole crypto world feels like a different language. So are we talking about a total societal revolution?
Well, think about it this way. Every time there's been a major technological leap, it ripples outward. The printing press, the internet, these weren't just about new tools. They changed how power was distributed.
Hmm. Yeah, okay, I see where you're going with this.
Right. Bitcoin and blockchain, they're doing something similar,
Yeah.
pushing power away from these centralized institutions and toward individuals.
So less Big Brother, more like
Yeah.
you're your own boss.
Precisely. When people have more control over their finances, their data, it changes their relationship to authority. And that's where this whole idea of a Bitcoin-powered society comes into play.
Okay, I like where this is going. BUT, you got to help me picture this. What does that actually look like in practice? Like, do we all become day traders living off the grid?
Wait, it's not so much about specific actions and more about the values needed for this type of society to actually work. See, the author of this article is arguing that technology alone isn't enough. He actually draws a really interesting parallel to the samurai code of Bushido.
Wait, hold up. Are you saying we all need to start practicing calligraphy and wielding katanas? Because my swordsmanship needs work.
Well, lessons, not quite. But Bushido wasn't really about the weapons or the rituals. It was about this strong moral code. Things like honor, courage, integrity, self-discipline, those are at the core of samurai culture. And the article suggests that we need a similar set of values, almost like a Bushido of Bitcoin, to navigate this world of decentralization.
Bushido of Bitcoin. I've got to admit, that's a pretty catchy phrase. You've got me hooked. So what exactly are these Bitcoin virtues and how do they play out in this brave new world? All right, so we're talking Bushido of Bitcoin, a set of guiding principles for this new decentralized world, this new era.
Is a pretty powerful idea.
It is. But I'm really curious, how does it actually play out like in real life?
Yeah.
What are some of these virtues and what makes them so important?
We'll start with courage.
Okay.
So imagine being one of the first people to really grasp Bitcoin back in the early days.
Yeah.
People thought you were crazy.
Oh yeah, total nutcase.
It took some serious guts to be like, no, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I'm investing my time and energy into this thing that nobody really understands.
Yeah, that's so true. It's kind of like how people reacted to the early internet, right? Like it was this
Yeah.
weird niche thing and now look at it.
Exactly.
So courage, that's a big one. What else?
Integrity is another huge one.
Okay.
Bitcoin relies on transparency. Every single transaction is recorded on the blockchain, right?
Right,
For everyone to see.
right.
That builds trust and accountability right into the system itself.
So it's like with Bitcoin, honesty isn't just the best policy, it's practically built into the code.
Yeah. You could say that. And
Yeah.
then let's not forget compassion. Now, this one might seem a little counterintuitive at first because, we often associate technology with being kind of cold, impersonal.
Right.
But remember, Bitcoin has this potential to empower people who've been totally excluded from these traditional financial systems.
That's a really good point. I was reading something the other day about how people in countries with hyperinflation are using Bitcoin to protect their savings.
Absolutely.
It gives them this sense of control that they wouldn't have otherwise.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that technology can be this force for good, for lifting people up and creating a more level playing field.
I like it.
And the article goes on to actually outline 10 virtues in total.
Yeah.
Each one kind of plays a really crucial role in this Bushido of Bitcoin.
10. All right, so we've got courage, integrity, compassion. What else? Give us the highlights reel.
So justice is a big one. Ensuring that everyone has equal opportunities and is treated fairly within this new system. Then there's self-control, which is absolutely crucial in a world of, volatile markets and all these get-rich-quick schemes.
Makes sense. It's about playing the long game,
Yeah.
right? Building something sustainable.
Exactly. And remember how we were talking about how decentralization shifts power dynamics?
Yeah.
Well, that also means we need to cultivate wisdom and sound judgment because there's no central authority calling the shots anymore.
It's like with great freedom comes great responsibility.
Right, at it. And that responsibility includes, actually understanding the technology, evaluating risks, and making informed decisions.
So it's not just about being a good person in general. It's about embodying these virtues in a way that specifically supports this whole decentralized future, right?
You're getting it. Because ultimately, a decentralized world, especially one built on something as like potentially disruptive as Bitcoin,
Mm-hmm.
it demands this new way of thinking, a new way of being in the world.
This is all incredibly fascinating, but I have to admit it's also a lot to process. So we've got this Bushido of Bitcoin, this set of values for a new era. But the author takes it a step further, right? He actually paints this picture of a new heroic age. What exactly does that entail? A new heroic age, it's a powerful image, I'll give you that. But what does that actually look like in practice? Are we talking about like Bitcoin billionaires becoming the new Robin Hoods or something?
Well, no, not exactly. It's less about, specific individuals or like even wealth, and more about a fundamental shift in what we value as a society. See, in a decentralized world, those old hierarchies, they start to break down. Leadership becomes less about inheriting power and more about earning respect, like through your actions, through embodying these virtues we've been talking about.
So it's less about being born a hero and more about becoming one through your choices, your actions.
Exactly. It's recognizing that everyone has the potential to make a difference in this new landscape. It's the entrepreneur who's, building their business with integrity. It's the artist using their platform to promote compassion. Heck, it's even just everyday people engaging in honest transactions, both online and offline. It all contributes to this bigger shift.
That's a really empowering message, I'll grant you that. But let's be real, every revolution, even a peaceful, decentralized one, they've got their challenges. Are there any potential downsides to this heroic age we should be aware of?
That's a super important question. And you know what? The article doesn't shy away from it. One potential pitfall is this danger of dogma. It's so easy to get caught up in the ideals, in the tech itself, that we become inflexible, like resistant to new ideas or even just, constructive criticism.
Well, tell me about it. You see that online all the time, right? Question one thing about someone's favorite cryptocurrency, and suddenly you're public enemy number one.
Exactly. And that kind of rigid thinking, it can stifle innovation. It can even undermine the very principles of decentralization. Remember, this is all about empowering individuals, not about creating these new ideologies to follow blindly, right?
Yeah. Right, right. So open minds, critical thinking, those are key. What other challenges do you see on the horizon?
Another pitfall is exclusivity. The beauty of Bitcoin is that it's accessible to anyone, right? Regardless of background. But we need to make sure that this new world we're building doesn't accidentally create new barriers to entry, whether that's through like all the technical jargon or elitist attitudes or just failing to make this space feel welcoming to newcomers.
So to truly build this heroic age, it's not even enough to just adopt the right technology or even like the right values, really. We actually have to fight against those old ways of thinking, the whole us versus them mentality.
Couldn't have said it better myself. It's about recognizing our shared humanity, right?
Yeah.
Our interconnectedness, finding ways to collaborate, to support each other, even as we're navigating this totally uncharted territory.
It's funny. We started out talking about Bitcoin, but this has become about something much, much bigger. What it actually means to build a better future, a more just and equitable society. And honestly, that's pretty darn inspiring, if you ask me.
It really is. And it's a conversation that everyone needs to be a part of.
100%. So to all our listeners out there, we want to hear from you. Does this whole idea of a Bushido of Bitcoin, does it resonate? What does it inspire you to do differently? How can you embody these virtues in your own life, in your own corner of the world? Hit us up on social media. Let's keep this conversation going.
Because ultimately, this journey towards a more decentralized future is not something that's just happening to us. It's something we're all actively creating together.
Yeah. And that's what makes it so exciting, right? The future is unwritten, and it's up to all of us to write it. One courageous, compassionate, and decentralized action at a time. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, everyone. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep building that future.